The greatest innovation is work. Not that making work go around all the day, but the almost never be where the structure is happening. If everything has been done, we can look about them. Okay, they are built by pioneers. And pioneers, both where there is no path, you have the chance to create one. That is your opportunity. So if you talk about council, if you talk about challenges, have the opportunity of becoming a non-executive board. But where we came to do with secondary school leaders, SFE leaders, with old EEG, with old trace ECG, and other things. But with this subject, we wanted to be pioneers, we wanted to train others, we wanted to let people know that from being ordinary like a robot. Because when those secondary school leaders were doing it, okay, they know nothing about interpretation. All they do is because the doctors are there to interpret. Okay, so but which one people are coming to do, not learn how to carry out this procedure, but to learn how to interpret some of this procedure. Okay, now what is clinical neurophysiology? Okay, let me just say, is this let me just describe us as an institution for the human body. We use specialized equipment to listen to the electrical conversation happening in the brain and the nerves. Okay? Some of the tests we carry out we record brain electrical activity to diagnose epilepsy. We also talk about phaeton as well as coma. Of course, we also differentiate seizure from other two opportunities that come with epilepsy. We record apps that control them in order to diagnose the condition. I'm doing this person with from all the things. They don't have the of course, we also measure people's potential, because how well your brain is really for case studies. We do the interpretive neural monitoring. We do that a lot of tests too that you can do. So we have a lot that we need to cover. How can we get in Nigeria? Okay, we are meeting out there. The problem is from EEG. There is more than 17 2 hours each. Long-term monitor for EMG, now conduction, several other types of software. Okay, which shows that we are underutilizing some of these things. So we need more people. Okay, so we are just like the detectives who those things. We're essential. We are essential to modern medicine, which means because modern medicine has to do with diagnosis. You can't just take patient and say you want to treat them. You need to know what is wrong with them. So we've been functioning perfectly in this era. So now, here is where this strategy comes. Just because the part is isn't big, where doesn't here. Training personnel who have traveled to UK, and unlike other fields, there's something I want to mention here. If you are a medical personnel that you are MBBS and you are traveling to UK, you'll be before you can be employed. But most of our physiologists who keep our facilities here in Nigeria are employed directly with NHS. the skills they actually learn. So the fact that it's not globally, this is a mature, respected, and respected American Board of Registration for Physiology as well as people potential. Okay, in the US, which is the gold standard, which is the gold standard for
neurophysiologist or neurodiagnostic. Okay, they are more or less like a licensing body. We also have CBRET for Canada. Also in UK, they have their own robust system through the bodies like Registration Council for Clinical Physiologists. So most of our physiologists who left here became members of these bodies, and they are doing well. So there are also some specialized academics, like the one in Texas. Most of my trainees, I always introduce them to the one in Texas, and with this, it assists them to actually get to learn from some great personality internationally abroad, and they even get certificates from Texas while in Nigeria. Okay, of course, institutes like Activos, just like Mr. Gbada said, focus purely on hands-on. What Activos does is they train you to have this hands-on training for you to be very good, so that when you do interview with some of these organizations, NHS and the rest, you'll be able to prove that you are good with hands-on, and when you pass their interview, then you should be rest assured that you can easily work with any hospitals in UK. And you will ask, why am I showing you all this? It is to prove a fundamental point. And what is the point? You are not trapped locally. Forget it. You are not trapped locally. Your Nigerian physiology degree is not a dead end. It is a foundation. When you add a globally recognized skills and certification to that foundation, you become mobile. So you become valuable anywhere in the world, and your skill is just more or less like your passport. Take note, your skill is like your passport. So personal career story, just like Sagbada said, because of time, I'm not going to spend much time on my own story, but I just want to let you know that I've gone through a lot too. I came into the university as an MBBS student. In my 200 level to 300 level, I was asked to withdraw and chose physiology. I wasn't happy, so I had a lot of depression. I didn't attend class all through my 200 level. I wasn't happy for actually missing out, and this really it kind of set a lot of setback for me as a student. So most times when I give all this tell them, the reason is I wouldn't want anyone to go through what I went through. Of course, I was able to a lot, but I'm just telling you that maybe I just become what I become today. I went God, we're here today. We didn't give up, and as a result of that, that is why some of you could make reference to what we are doing. Now, Nigerian specific opportunity analysis. Now, let's go practical. Yeah, most of us are looking at it. Now, physiology. Let's look at it point of view. Okay? For two days in Nigeria, for physiology in Nigeria. Let's check the data. Of course, what does it hold for us? When it comes to neurophysiology, there is burden of neurophysiology, and it is skyrocketing day by day. As at 2020, we're talking about in Nigeria. Today, we're talking about more than 3 million people. What does this tell you? Okay, if we're talking about 3 million people, we're saying out of 195 countries in the world, we have that are less than 3 million in population. So if you carry people living with epilepsy in Nigeria to occupy some countries, that means they will make up that country. So it's not a small number anyway. So what I'm saying in essence is that we have a burden of neurological disease in the country that is skyrocketing. We have one of the highest rates. Stroke is the leading cause of death in Nigeria and disability. Diabetes is leading to debilitating neuropathies in most people. Of course, we have accidents causing nerve damage all around. Okay, which shows that there are lots of things that shows that we may need a lot of people in the field of neurophysiologists in Nigeria in future. Now, here is the question: who is going to diagnose and manage all this? Where are the experts to run the EEGs when all these lot of epileptic patients start getting awareness and they start coming to hospitals? Okay, who will perform nerve conduction studies for most of the patients who have accidents and have problem with their nerve cells? Who will score the sleep studies when people start realizing that to be called sleep studies? Okay, so this is telling us that there are more, okay, that we can actually know more about in the area of neurophysiology. So this is just like a graph still showing the same thing about the burden. Why the burden is increasing every year, which shows increase the number of expertise. So we are not enough. Okay, keep getting yourself the skills, keep training yourself. Definitely, you get to see where you fit in at the end of the day. So career opportunities, of course, you can work in teaching hospitals, private diagnostic centers, research and academia, entrepreneurship. Okay, just like Mr. Gbada said, some of us are already having their own, planning to have their own laboratory. Some of us even have team that we consult for different hospitals, okay, outside. Most of these major hospitals outside, we write proposals to them and we go as a consultant to attend to their patients. Okay, so which means the ceiling is higher than most students realize. Okay, that is if we take our time. Now, let's go to the important thing here. Let's talk about JAPA. Of course, we have to. It's on everybody's mind. We need to distinguish between two types of migration if we have to migrate at all, and that is where I want to base my most important discussion on. Okay, so if we're to discuss about JAPA, there is two of them. There is migration without specialization and migration with specialization. So when you decide to go, you decide to travel immediately after what's it called, your graduation. Okay, at the end of the day, possibly because what you're doing is actually not developing yourself professionally. Okay, you're not developing a career. And this led to skill mismatch. You have been trained as a physiology in Nigeria. If really you understand what you have been trained to know, okay, you should be able to forge ahead with this. But when you get abroad, you're doing something else. And as a result of that, you took a lot of time that you were away from the field that you were actually supposed to develop yourself on. So when you get abroad, people will respect you for what you know, and at the same time, you have the opportunity of earning higher, what's it called, higher income, even when you get abroad. Strategic migration because of time. So this is just a graph to show what each and every one of us always think when it comes to what's it called, career growth pathway. Personally, you know, to go through training, certification, then you become a specialist. Okay, and that is the best. But whenever you decide to go through the other way, this graph shows you exactly what I mean. Okay, you can see the bending. This line is just like a physiology graduate pathway. You start, you hit a ceiling very quickly. Your growth is limited by lack of defined structure. But what happens when you try to, what's it called? The specialist part. Okay? The first 2 years, you feel a bit slow. Okay? But by the time you get these skills, you keep moving higher and higher. And you know, you can't really predict where you're going to tire yourself. Okay, so now let's look at 5 pillars of success. If you have to be successful, so how do you get on that blue line? Okay, it is not by luck, it is by building your career. I will call it 5 pillars, and here are the 5 pillars. Okay, skill acquisition, mentorship, certification, networking, and character. It is SMCNC. Skill acquisition, your non-negotiable foundation. Theory alone is useless. You must be able to do. Okay? Mentorship, you cannot see the path from where you are standing. You need someone ahead of you to show you the way and the pitfall. Now, certification is more or less like a global stamp that says your skills meet an international standard. It is your passport to credibility. So networking is your professional community. The people will tell you about jobs, recommend you for opportunities, and collaborate with you, most especially when you have a goal. Then 5 is character. The glue that holds it all together, all the ways, you know, reliability, integrity, and a good attitude. Like people will always say, skills get you in the door, while character keeps you in the room. Okay, so we look at this, keep this framework in your mind. SMCNC. Okay, skill acquisition, mentorship, certification, networking, and character. So now, before you can build anything, you have to change how you see yourself. Right now, from this moment, from this platform, how you see yourself, how you see the society, or maybe even you on how the society see you. Okay? I am just a physiology graduate. No. To delete that sentence from your vocabulary forever. You are not just anything. You are not X. Look at the screen. I'll be mentioning these things, and I want every one of you to say it after me. You may not be able to say it because I'm not going to stop. I have to continue. One is, you are a future clinical scientist, you are a neurodiagnostic specialist, you are a healthcare builder. Okay? So when you start to see yourself that way, then your choices change. The student you ask for mentorship, the skills you decide to learn, the job you are willing to accept, everything changes when you upgrade your identity. Okay? So now, regulation challenge. Just like Mr. Gwada said, let's address the biggest structural issues head on, which is, it is true, Nigeria does not yet have a dedicated regulatory council for clinical physiologists, okay? Like we have for doctors and we have for nurses, okay? It's a challenge. I'm not going to pretend it's not, okay? But look at history, and that is what I want every one of us to think about. Every single profession that exists today was once imagined. How did they broke? It was 2, 3 things. And that is what I want us to take home tonight. One is advocacy. Okay? People speaking up, organizing and demanding a seat at the table. don't expect that people at the House of Assembly will come to your house and say, oh, you people are physiologists. Oh, you're supposed to have counsel now. How is mercy to come and say, oh, I pity you. Let us try to get. No. You have to advocate. You have to speak up. You have to be organized. You have to demand for a seat at the table. If you don't do that, nobody will give it to you. Okay? They become so good, so essential that the system couldn't ignore them. Ask yourself today, what are you planning to be after graduation? You want to be a liability. That's why you say, no, after physiology, I don't even know what I want to do. Or some of you say, I can always sell things, I can always go into this. No. If you are actually really serious with what you student, you have to be competent. What does it mean to be competent? You did something about skin in school. Have you taken your time to look at the applications, area of applications of this, and how you can actually impact your environment? You have to be competent because of time. Then collaboration. Okay? Then you need to stop competing with each other. I have my own group. You have your own group. This is physiology sports. This is CPN. This is that. This is sheep. This, stop competing with each other and start building together. Okay? This is how we do it. If really we are interested in getting our regulating body, just like others got their own. One thing I want us to know is that the regulation will come. It is not a question of if, but when, and the when depends on you and I. You can tell now, so that when the structure is built, you are ready to lead it. There is an African proverb that I would like to share with us, which says, if you want to go fast, go